Okay, so the live stream is there. So let me just present it off the laptop today. Some old slides, but I will clean them up and put them up on the next page. So yeah, so we are going to look at arrays in this class. Okay. So the point is this: we have seen programming with lists. We have also seen that you can do a lot of sophisticated things, and I mean you can do very sophisticated programs like in the dynamic program example I showed with just lists. But it is convenient. It is not always convenient to derive a program like the kind I showed for longest common subsequence, etc. So, and also in general, it would be useful to have something like arrays in your language. But mostly you will be using lists. For certain kinds of problems, you will be using arrays. Okay, because lists do the job a lot of the time, and lists have a lot more flexibility because you don't have any limit on the length of a list. You can keep growing a list as much as you want. But there are certain problems like that longest common subsequence, etc., that we saw where you have a fixed length, two strings of fixed length, and you want to do some computation, but the naive algorithm won't work well. Okay, so you need to do something better. We tried to show you dynamic programming with just using lists. Today we'll introduce arrays and also show you dynamic programming with arrays. Okay, it will turn out that using arrays is much simpler. Okay, and you don't need to really reason about your program and then think deep, etc. Okay, so with that introduction, so let's begin our discussion of arrays. So lists store a collection of elements, and the main thing is that accessing the ith element in a list takes I steps. Okay, it would be useful to have, like in other languages, some mechanism, some way of storing a collection of elements where accessing the ith element takes constant time. Okay, it doesn't depend on the index I. Okay, and that is given by arrays. Okay. So to use arrays, you have to import the module data.array. We'll see programs which illustrate all that. Okay, so this is the main thing. So you do import data.array and you say something like this is the type. Generally, this will be the type of arrays. Okay, it will say array of characters with the indices coming from integers. Okay, so this is one simple way of building an array from a list. You start with a list and you say build an array from the list, and you will say the array should have indices 0, 1, 2. Elements are coming from the list. If you do this command, then you will get an array where index 0 points to A, index 1 points to B, index 2 points to C. Okay, let's try this on GHCI. Let's see what happens. So I have here GHCI. Let me first check for the type of list array. It might crib saying do not know what it means. So what you need to do is you need to import the module. So I just say import data. Module. Yeah. So module plus data. Yes. So now I can again check for the type of list array. Yes. So it takes a list and produces an array of type array IE. Okay. Let us just first use it and then we'll see what happens. List array, like I told you, 0, 2. To get this result. Okay, the term is of the form array with a small a, and then it will first indicate the indices from 0 to 2. That is what this means. If it is 0, 2, it means indices are from 0 to 2, and then it will actually give the association here. See, position 0 points to A, position 1 points to B, position 2 points to C. Is it clear? The most important thing you will do now is to access elements of the array. So you can, to access elements of the array, you will say, that is my, okay, so instead of just saying list array, I'll just say my array equals list array this, okay? And then if it were a list, you would say bang some number, but now you will say my array, just a single bang, and then say 0, you will get A. Okay, so it is just like using a list, except instead of using a double bang, you use a single bang here. Okay, and that's basically it. I hope you can see the highlight here. It's a single bang rather than a double.
Sir?
Yes.
So could you explain the type of list array? I didn't understand.
The list array, I am coming to that once.
Okay.
I'm going to describe all that. Okay. So first thing you need to know is, let us first figure out the type of array. Okay. It is capital A array with int and char. Here int happens to be the indices, the type of all the indices, the type of indices. Char happens to be the type of values. Okay. You can do this. So why do you need to store this? Unlike in certain other languages where only integers can be indices, here you can have anything to be an integer as long as it satisfies certain constraints. Okay, so we come to that next. List array, the type is index I. Okay, you are saying that I is an index type. Okay, what is an index type? We'll come to that. If I is an index type, then you have lower bound of the index, upper bound of the index, smallest index, highest index pair. Okay, the smallest index, highest index pair, then the list of elements, and then that is it. So you give two things only: smallest index, highest index, but the indices have to come from a type that can be an index. Okay, there are some constraints. We'll come to what those constraints are in a minute. And then what you get will be array I. Okay, so for instance, I could come here and say, clear this list array. Yeah, just to show you some huge number. Did it work? Oh, it actually tries to show all the. So I should say let arr equal give some ridiculously large number. Yes, so you have done this. You let your ARR be this. Now you can go and ask for any number. What is the number at this position you are asking? You see that it's some huge number. Shouldn't take this much time. Oh, because the okay. So in 7 seconds you get an answer. If I instead had said oh, how come? I'll have to figure this out. Okay. Oh, because I think it is actually building the array, but it shouldn't matter. Okay, so in this case, it has to build the array for so many elements, and it does this. But the point is that it will take the same 7.01 seconds no matter what. It is supposed to, at least for simple examples, it is supposed to be very quick. Okay, so let us see. We'll come to that later. Let us first explain the index type. Okay, so if A is an index type, okay, then you want the following constraint. Whenever X and A are of type A and X is less than A, then the range of values between X and Y is finite. This is the important thing. Okay, and it is also defined, which means that it should be a type where it shouldn't, for instance, be a type where there are infinitely many elements in between. It shouldn't also be a type where there is no notion of range at all. For instance, I cannot, let me think of one where it is not. For instance, I cannot have a, I cannot say the collection of all functions from A to B is a, an index type. Okay, because I mean, what are all the functions between some F1 and F2? There is no notion.
But in case of functions, there is also no notion of ordering, right?
Yeah. So basically, that is what I mean here. There is there should be a notion of ordering between X and Y on the type A. That is what I mean by the range of values between X and Y should be defined. Okay, and it should be finite. Okay. So this is the constraint, main constraint for any X and Y. If I take X and X less than Y, then the range of values between them should be finite. Okay, and therefore you see that it includes all these types, int, char, but also the pairs, int comma int, because there is a notion of order defined on them, on pairs of numbers. Also int comma char, also int comma bool. Okay, all these belong to the index type, but you cannot have float or double as an index type, nor can you have list of int, because if you take two double numbers, then there is no notion of, not just a notion of order. So who said the notion of order should be defined? Neelabja?
Yes, sir.
There should also be a notion of element before this, an element after this. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Right? Because for double and so on, there is no smallest element after a given element. Right?
So actually the finiteness, right?
Yeah, the finiteness is what is really the point. Okay. So for list of integers, for instance, you cannot say that. So why is, suppose I give you two lists, the list consisting of just the single element 1 and the list consisting of the single element 2. How many other lists are in between these? Meaning how many lists L can you think of such that the list 1 is before the list L and the list L is before the list 2?
So
for that lists you compare using lexicographic order.
So there is no list in between.
There is a list 1,1.
Yes, 1,1. Right. Very good. 1,1 because 1,1 is longer than the singleton list 1. Okay. So we can check that. Okay. 1 less than 1,1. It will say true. Okay. 1,1 less than 2. Will it be true or false? True. So now can you think of how many lists are between the singleton list 1 and the
There are infinite.
Infinitely many. Why? Because if I take 1,1,1, that is less than 2. Clearly it's greater than the singleton list 1. So for any length, I can keep on going. You see?
Sir, could you explain this point once?
Yeah. So how many lists are between 1 and, there is a notion of order on lists. Do you agree? Who's asking this question?
Sir, I will need to look back at it.
No, who is asking this question?
Sir, I am Neelabja, sir.
Neelabja is asking. There is a notion of order on lists. What is the notion? It is lexicographic ordering. What do you mean by lexicographic ordering? Take two lists, go till the point where they differ. At the point where they differ, whichever is smaller, then that is the smaller list. So if I take 1, 2, 3, and on the other hand, I take 1, 2, 4, which is the smaller list?
1, 2, 3.
Okay, because go 1, 1 matches, 2, 2 matches. The first point where it differs, 3 is less than 4. Okay, and there is also another thing here. If one list is a prefix of another, then this list is smaller than that. Okay, so if I just take 1, 2, and if I compare it against 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2 is smaller than that because 1, 2, 3 extends 1, 2.
Okay, sir.
So, clear? Now
Yes,
I'm asking 1 is less than 1,1. 1 is less than 1,1,1. 1 is less than 1,1,1, etc. Okay. So therefore, and each of those things are less than 2. Why? Because at the first point where there is a difference, 1 is less than 2. So each of these is less than 2. Is it clear? So therefore you cannot have things like list int to be index types. Right? Neelabja.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got it. Thank
Somebody
you.
should respond. Otherwise, I mean, you asked a question and I want to be sure that you understood. Okay. So now basically this is it. So if you go back a previous slide, in the call for list array, the first argument is a pair of elements from one type I, and that type I has to be an index type. Typically, it will be 2 numbers or pairs of numbers, etc. It depends on your problem. Typically, it will be 2 numbers. Okay, we will see where it is pairs of numbers also. And this is a list of elements of the type whose value is stored in the array. Okay, so that is the value type. These are the index types. Okay, now here are some examples. Okay, let's look at that. List array 1, 1, 1.100. So I'm having a list and I'm asking you to form an array whose lowest index is 1, whose highest index is also 1. And how should I fill in the values in the array? I should read the list from left to right, and I should keep on filling in values till I run out of indices. Okay. So what do you think the resulting array will be here? What will be the
All of them have the
resulting array? What
same
will be the
index.
elements?
Sir, it should be 1, 1, 1, 2, etc.
So
It should just be array
it's
of
an
one.
array whose smallest index is 1, whose greatest index is 1, and the value of the array is, the elements of the array are, at index 1 you have value 1. Okay, so this says index 1 and that has value. Okay, let's look at other examples. So list array, but if I say list array 1, 10, 1, 10 of 1.100, then I'll have 1 is mapped to 1, 2 is mapped to 2, 3 is mapped to 3, etc., etc., 10 is mapped to 10. Right? So this already tells you that your list can be longer in length. Okay, but you can just say, oh, I have this list, but I only want to form an array of the first 10 elements. That is what you're saying here. But notice that you don't necessarily need to use 1, 10 as your array indices. You can also say, for instance, if you so choose to, you can say my array indices are -5 to 4. Okay, so for that you will say list array, my lowest index is -5, my highest index is 4, and my array is 1 dot dot. Yeah. So now you say at position -5 you have 1, at position -4 you have 2, at position -3 you have 3, etc. Okay. So you can have, so don't ask me what negative positions. These are just indices. Okay. You can choose them as to your convenience. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
so the output of list array is not just like a list of pairs of elements. It's like a more compound type. So in the out,
And the type itself tells you what the other information is. It says it's an array where the lowest index is 5 and the highest index is 4. Yes.
got it. So how will we retrieve just the index?
That is because the so just the element at that index. You just say IT is the previous array. You just say 1 bang and you say element at position at index 1.
Yes, sir, I got that. That I understood. I'm just saying.
So how it actually does is it internal. You don't need to know now.
No, sir, not that either. I'm just saying I want that entire list. The
You want
index
the entire
list.
list. You will.
Yeah.
Please wait. I'm going to tell you all that.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So there is a.
So, sir, our lists are arrays stored in Haskell only as list arrays.
Once more. Yes.
Are only arrays stored in Haskell through list array.
List array is not the
I mean,
type is list
like
array.
any array. Acha. So in this manner, that is list
Yeah,
with the indexing
one way of
in
building,
form of.
this is one way of building arrays. 1 second. There are other ways of building arrays as well. Okay, but typically it will involve starting from a list and going to an array and then doing some computation with the array and then getting back the list.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So there is this call called ASOX. We'll come to that. We'll come to all this a bit. So don't worry. Okay, so more examples. So you can do list array and say that my first index is M, my last index is Z, and my array itself is, I don't know, 0 dot dot. Now you see that the indices are characters and your elements are integers. Okay, you can always flip this. So usually in other languages the indices are always numeric values. Here you can have any type where you have a notion of first this element, then this element, then this element, etc. And you are given two elements and the number of elements between the two are finite. You can do this. Okay, and the list could be larger in length, but you are just going to pick out elements from the beginning lengths. Okay, what else? Suppose your so suppose I do this list array of not mz but zm. What is the set of elements between z and m? Anybody?
Empty list.
Empty. Okay, there is no element between z and m. So now if you do this, you will get an empty array. See the point? Yeah. Okay. What next? Yeah, your list can be infinite. Your list can be of length more than your range of indices, but your list cannot be of length less than your range of indices. For instance, if I say list array, I don't know, 0 to 10, and my array elements are 1 to 10, let us say. So clearly the number of indices are 11. The number of elements in the list are 10 only. You will get an exception. See, it will try to build the list. It will do, okay, at position 0 there is 1, at position 1 there is 2, at position 2 there is 3, dot, dot, so on. At position 9 there is 10, but I want an element for position 10, but there is nothing. Okay, so it says exception, array, whatever, undefined array element it says. Is it clear? So when you build a list using list array, you should ensure that the length of the list is larger than the range of the indices that you are designing. Yes, Swaminathan, is this clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Okay, good. Let me proceed. Yes, and now I said the value at index I can be accessed using array bang I. Okay, unlike this double bang that you use to access elements in a list. And array bang I will return an exception if no value has been defined for index. Okay. Just like with lists. Okay, so there is nothing to worry about. So if you say, for instance, my array is list array 1, 3 ABC, and if you say my array at 4, then it will say, oh, index 4 is out of range. So let us see. It will say list array is out of range. Okay. Clear so far?
Sir,
So far?
no, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. So you wrote array bang, right? I mean, like exclamation marks. Here you wrote it bang. Are they the same thing? It is exclamation mark 10, right? That's what you wrote here.
Right.
Would, if you wrote array exclamation mark 10, would that work? I didn't understand the notation, like ARR exclamation mark.
No, that is the name of the array. That is the name of the array. Yes. And then you are saying you are using the name of the array, and then you are saying putting.
Yeah. Yes, sir. No, understood.
Yeah, for lists you will say bang bang. For array you are just saying bang.
Yeah, sir.
Okay, great. Now let's move ahead. The nice thing about Haskell arrays are, like everything else in Haskell arrays are lazy. Okay. Therefore, the point here is that the whole array need not be defined before you access some of the elements. For instance, you can fill in locations 0 and 1 of an array and define the value at location I in terms of the values at location I minus 1 and I minus 2. Okay. So this is the nice thing. We will come to an example. Fibonacci. We will just do that in a minute. Okay. And another thing to note is list array, because you are building the list, it takes time proportional to the range of the indices. You will first build an array from, you will at least create some scaffolding. If you want to access all the elements of the array, it will take that much time. Okay. So now let us return to Fibonacci. Okay. Fibonacci numbers. So let's do. Fib 0 is 0, Fib 1 is 1, Fib n is Fib n minus 1 plus or Fib n minus 2 plus. Okay, this is it. So rather than using this, I'll also do some things with main, which I have not yet explained, but I'll explain in due course. You don't need to worry. So if you want to read this program, I want to read an integer. First, I won't do too much error checking. Okay, then I'll say okay, so basically read line will read a line and I'm asking the Haskell to interpret it as an int. Okay, then what I'll do is I'll say let the result equals Fibonacci of input. So instead of saying input, I'll say it's a property. What no. Let me not
Just a quick question. That is,
just 1 second. Just yes. Who had a question? What is the question?
yeah, I just saw that the system.random imported on your Haskell code, but I couldn't import it on my code. Like it's always not recognizing that system.random package.
In your visual code?
Yes.
I don't know. So yeah, certain packages you should go and do Cabal install or whatever. Sometimes we'll figure it out later. Okay. Yeah,
Okay,
it's right. So I'm saying let result equal to fib of n, and then I'm just going to type that. Okay. So just to show you that you can do non-trivial. But of course, all this is, I've written all this, but when I go here and actually do main, okay, it's asking me to enter a number. I can say 10. Just say value of 10 is 50. Okay. And that's all it exists. I can't do repeated things. I would again do main to do anything else. But of course, this is useless because if I do even like 20, it takes a lot. Tell me when it will hit a large. Yes, even for 30, it's starting to struggle. Okay, so let's do an array thing. Okay, that is the main point of this. Yeah. So just like with the list thing that we did, we'll say that fib equals fib n equals fib array at position A. That's it. Okay. What is fib array? We'll write that. Fib bar equals is of type array int integer. Okay. So fib bar equals list array. What is the smallest index? 0. What is the highest index that you want? This is the important thing. With lists, you can go infinite lists. With arrays, they have to be finite. But you know what your problem is.
According to my desire, I mean n here.
Yeah, we don't have an access to n here, right? So we'll have to say var okay. This is a local function. Fib array is a local function to fib. You have n available, so you just say n. Okay. Did I import array? I have not imported array. It's already saying what all I need. Okay, list array 0 to 1 of what? This is the important thing. I need to give a list now, right? I need to give a list of all Fibonacci numbers, basically. I can't do that. But how do I do that? This is the most awesome thing then. Okay. I'll say first element is 0, second element is 1. Okay. What about the remaining elements? Remaining elements are that's it.
So you missed an exclamation after fib.
Yes, and actually there is a better way to write this. So rather than write it this way, you will say this is nothing but f of I, where I ranges from 0 dot dot. Okay, now define f separately. F of 0 is, this is just the fib definition, really. That's all. So let me just write the definition. Sorry. F of 0 is 0. F of 1 is 1. F of I is fib array of I minus 2 plus fib array of nothing could be simpler. Okay, so you're saying my Fibonacci number value at for n, the value of fib n is nothing but the nth element of fib array. How do I build fib array? I build it as, instead of calling it fib 0, fib 1, fib n, etc., I'm defining a new function fi. Okay, fi is for f0 and f1 you fill in the values. For other things you just compute based on the earlier values, but instead of making recursive calls like in fib, here you made recursive calls. Here you want to access the elements of the array. The array is storing the elements and you're just going and accessing. Okay, so let's actually, it compiles already. Let's see how it works. So rather than do this shift, I'll actually keep both open at the same time. Now I have to reload. I'll say fib. I can actually first say fib 100 also. It's not supposed to take time. Oh, did it even reload properly? It does not reload properly because I have not saved this. this. Okay, it's instantaneous. Okay, and this is the power of lazy. So how does Haskell manage this? You don't need to worry about it now. Just know that Haskell provides you with arrays, and they are lazy arrays, means that you don't need to have the whole array defined before you use the array. Okay, you can define certain elements of the array, then you can use those elements to fill in other elements of the array. Okay, this is beautiful. Okay, now I can also say main, and the same thing I can try there. I'll say 100. It will say fib 100 is this value. That large. Okay, are you now any questions about this program? This program couldn't be any simpler than this. It's the same fib recursion which you use to fill in the elements of the array, except instead of making recursive calls, you use the refer to the elements of the array by doing this bang operator. Any questions, Vijay?
Sir,
Yes, Romit. Yes.
how different would this be from using a list to do the same thing?
No, sorry. Can you repeat again? My
How different in speed would it be if I was using a list to do this?
Oh, if you are using a list, you won't even get anywhere. I mean, fib 100 and all, forget it. Fib 30, it was struggling. No?
Okay.
Oh, if you were directly using a list, first of all, there is no way to. You are saying that instead of doing this, I want to say that, okay, if I get you correct, then what you are saying is, let us see. If I get you correct, then what you are saying is fib list, let us call it. An array of integers. Maybe you take an integer as parameter. Let us see what he is trying to say. There is a definite speed improvement. Okay. What he is saying is, who is Romit, right? You are the one who is saying this, right? Romit?
Yes.
Repeat this, please. Somebody. Who asked this question, please?
Sir Romit, can you not hear me?
Uh,
So is there a problem with my mic or something?
I don't know who is speaking even. My ears are blocked and nobody.
Sir, it's Romit. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. You are the one who asked the question, right?
Yes, I know.
Okay. So let us see. What you have in mind is something like this, right? Fib list equals locally you define fi, where I goes from 0 to n, where f0 equals 0, f1 equals 1, fi equals fib list at position I minus 2 plus fib list. Is this what you meant?
Yes, sir, this is what I was asking. I was asking how much slower would it be?
Yeah. Let us see. Firstly, why is there an error?
Sir, you have to put fib list. You have to put n after fib list because it doesn't know what n is.
Right. That's true. That's a problem.
I think it should be only integer list and type and or fib list.
Because I'm using .n. Okay, let me use what is that? But no, it can't be. Then I can't use bang.
Sir, you can make the type of fib list just integer and remove the n's. Yeah.
No, but I need the n. No. Why
Yes, sir, but because of lazy evaluation, it would, if you asked for n, it would give you n, right?
No. It's
So you can put
compiling. No?
n after this
Yeah.
fib list also. I
Just
mean
give me
the
a second.
marked fib
I'll
list.
try to figure out. It's-
Can't you remove bang bang there?
Sir, in the recursive call, actually, we are going bang bang fib list, but fib list is actually int arrow integer. So we have to give some
So we should
argument
use
also.
fib
But
list.
I is
in-
integer. Int, no. What is there?
No, in
Right.
the
No,
recursive call.
I see. Okay. I see the point. Okay. But this won't work because. Oh, okay. Now I see the point. Sorry. Right. Okay. Now I get what you are trying to say. Okay. So I should be calling this fib prime. Okay. Now sorry about this. I just want this. Okay. Fib prime of n is fib list at n. Okay, where fib list first I'll define. Okay, now it's fine. Okay, it is just the same as the array thing. Okay, fib prime of n, here I said fib of n is fib array at n. Instead I am now saying fib prime n is fib list at n. And then I'm just building the list like this instead of building the array like that. But now the main problem is that this bang bang operator takes time proportional to I to access the element. Okay, so who's the original questioner? Romit.
Yes.
You are here, right? Let's see the difference now in performance. Okay, so okay, so that's been loaded. Okay, so let's do fib of 100. Let's do fib prime of 100. Okay, here you don't see difference. Fib of 1000. Let's try. Oh. Let's keep going till we find a difference. Okay. You can already see the difference. Romit?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because the longer the list is, you have to take longer to traverse the list. Okay. To access element 999, you have to go past 999 elements.
Yes. So like it will go up to 999 each time.
Yeah, right. And if you, as you increase this thing, the difference will become even more palpable. Yeah, you'll almost grind to a halt now. It will take a long time because every time it has to access element I, it has to take time I, because just go past all those elements. Right? Okay, so let that keep happening. But is the program for fib clear? It is good that Romit asked this question because it is just like doing this list thing, except list takes long time to traverse, so you're doing list array. You're doing it in another. Okay, but arrays have other uses as well. So let us go back to the slides while this program runs. Okay, so Fibonacci we have done. Any questions about Fibonacci?
Sir, if we use the DP version for fib, will it be similar to the array version?
It is similar to the array version in that basically you are using the DP version to avoid having to do all the traverses. Okay, but the point is the DP version is a little hard to derive. Who asked this question? Sorry, I can't see the name.
Sir, this is Namrata.
Yeah, so for the DP version though, you have to the writing the program itself is a little hard now because you have to derive the program somehow. It is not the most straightforward of tasks to write a DP program. For Fibonacci you can do it, but there are other problems for which it's a little more difficult, right? So you agree?
Sir, isn't this also a DP type? Like we are storing eventually that
Yeah,
in a
this
list static.
but this is also DP only, nothing else. This is DP. This is the most direct version of DP. In fact, you are just storing it and you are retrieving it. You're making it very, very explicit how you are doing this. You're storing element by element and you are retrieving it. Okay, you could do it with lists, like I said, but there are limitations. One important thing is that for arrays, you can use any index type. Okay, whereas with lists, you do not have a notion of index types at all. Okay, and that will be helpful. I'll show you LCS where you cannot do a list-based version of it. You can only do an array-based version of it, or at least on the face of it. Okay. Okay. So let's move on. Yes. Somebody had a question.
I just said okay.
Okay. So here is another way of creating an array. It is this function called array. Okay. And now instead of providing a list of elements alone, you are providing an associative list, as it's called. This is what you mean by an associative list. That is just a list of pairs where you are associating one element to each index already. You already have a list and you have an association of numbers to indices to elements, and you are asking one array to be built out of that. Okay. Similar to list array, except list array just takes one list initially. Here you are giving an associative list. Okay. But there are some advantages. The associative list need not be in ascending order of indices. So I could have 1 associated with the string ONE, 0 associated with 0, 2 associated with the string 2, given in this order. But if you do the array, if you build the array, it will be given in the right order. Okay. In fact, you don't even need to worry what order it stores in. It will internally figure out how to do all that. It will always present it to you in ascending order of indices. Yeah. So it will store it correctly. The associative list may also omit elements. For instance, you can say that I want to build an array where smallest index is 0, greatest index is 2. And here is the associative list. You give 0 is associated with ABC, 2 is associated with XYZ. It will just store that, except that now if you ask for my array bang 1, it will give you an error. It will say array element not defined. Okay, for that. So just note that this array is another way of building lists, building arrays other than list array. Okay, we can come back to this later if you have doubts, but let's move on. Let us give you some general purpose functions on indices. Okay, any type A belonging to the type class in IX must provide the following functions. Firstly, it will provide a function called range. Okay, if you give a lower bound and upper bound, it will give you what are all the elements that lie between them. So for instance, now if I go here and say range of 0, 100, it will give me a list of all elements between 0 and 100. If I say range of MP, it will give me all characters between MZ. It will give me all characters between M and Z.
I forgot to give the comma.
Okay, so give me all characters between M and Z. But if I give me okay, MP, it will give me this. But if I give PM, what will it give?
So empty string.
The empty string. Is this clear? So this is the range. What else? Right. So you can ask for index of. You can use any range whatsoever. M to Z, I'm saying. What is the, in this range from M to Z, what is the 5th element? You can ask. Oh, sorry. Not that. Where does the element P occur? R occur? You can ask. Because starting from M is 0. M, N, O, P, Q, R. Okay. So R is index 5. So you can ask what is the index associated with this particular element in this range. Okay, so you can ask that. These are all just helper functions. Then you can ask whether, in case you have forgotten your alphabets, you can ask whether C is in the range M to Z. Oh, I should give it in the other order. Does the range from M to Z contain C? Is what I want to ask. Yeah, here it will say false. But if you instead ask for N, it will say true. Okay. Finally, you have a thing called range size. These are all helper functions that help you in case you are doing some complex thing and you want to figure out what. Okay, here range size is 2, range size is 14, etc., etc. Yes, of course. If you ask index and then ask for something that is not in the range, it will say out of range. Yeah, these are all standard and yes. Okay. Finally, who asked how can I retrieve all the list elements? Vijay, you asked?
Sir, Rajdeep.
Okay, good. So we come to those functions. First, bang function, which you have already seen. Given an array, it will tell you what the value at that element is, at that index is. Bounds will tell you, given an array, what the bounds are. So this is not maybe such a useful function, but if you built an array saying list array, so ARR equals. Okay, then you can ask for bounds of array. It will give you 0 to 1000. You can ask for indices of the array. It will give you everything from 0 to 1000. The list of all indices. You can ask for bounds, which will give you the 0. Finally, you can ask for elements of the array. That will give you the list of elements. You didn't see here, but these are the elements because, okay, or to make it clearer, if you say array 2, let me clear screen. Array 2, let us say, equals list array of. But you needn't have built the array in only this manner. You could have built it in other manners also. But I'm just saying 0 to 10 of 1 dot dot, let us say. This is what you have. You can say elements of the array. So Rajdeep, is it clear? Or who asked this question?
I only asked. It's okay now.
Yeah, okay, good. Fine. So you have elements, you have indices, you have bounds. Finally, you can ask assocs, which will give you all the associations. It will say, oh, 0 is paired with 1. You can also ask for assocs of array, which will be some huge thing. It will be confusing, but the earlier thing is clearer. Yes, 0 is associated with 1, 1 is associated with 2, etc. Okay. Having said all this, I think the next thing I do is, finally, you can also update the array using the, you can update an array as follows. Given an array, you can give a new association list saying at this index, this position, this value should go, at this index, this value should be there, etc., etc. And then you just say, so you can, for instance, now say, this array 2, you are associating 0 with 1, 1 with 2, etc., etc. No, instead I can say assocs, array 2 update using the following association list. What is the association list I use? I say I, comma I plus 10. I store the value I plus 10 in index I for any indices. Let me say. Oh, no. That index is out of range. So I can say. Okay, do you see that the array has changed now? Earlier 0 was storing 1, now 0 is storing 10. Earlier 1 was storing 2, now 1 is storing 11. Is it clear? You can update the array, but you rarely use update array because the other operations are all linear in time. Update array takes time proportional to the length of the list. So, or the length of the updation at least that you're doing. Okay, the length of the, if you update a single element, that is fine. Okay, but if you do this, this will take time proportional to the length of this list. Okay, that's fine. But in the kinds of problems that we consider, you don't need to update array because you will just fix an element, fix a value at some location of the array once and for all. Okay, so having said all this, let me So who asked me to discuss the the longest ascending sequence problem? Miller.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So let's look at the thing. So let me just for the moment say int. Okay. I am giving you a list of integers and you want me to give back a list of integers. This list of integers is the longest ascending sequence. You know what an ascending sequence is? Yeah, an increasing sequence, strictly increasing sequence. I want a longest strictly increasing subsequence. Okay. So okay, good. So how do we do this? So first of all, okay, so let's try to develop this program. Okay. Longest ascending subsequence consisting of the values x's. Consisting of the values a's. That is my original list, let us say. I'll do a minor hack. Okay. I'll do LSA prime of okay. Why do I do this?
Sure, if you would want to add elements to the array, you would want the starting element to be less than the coming element. So
not because of that, but because you will see as I develop the problem. Okay, the recursion becomes simpler. Even the naive problem. This is not even the array problem. I'm first going to give you the naive version. Okay, then I'll go to the array version. Okay, so I have added one dummy element at the beginning, and I know that every ascending sequence. Yes, okay, should start with that. I want to consider ascending sequence. So since this is minimum as minus 1 and that is the very first element, I know that if there is any ascending sequence at all, there will be one that starts with this. Okay, it is safe to always include that. Okay, where now the LAS prime is the important thing. LAS prime, okay, I'll tell you what, in comments I'll tell you what LAS prime ought to be, what I intend LAS prime to be. LAS prime of x followed by L will be the longest ascending sequence in x colon L that definitely contains x. Is this clear?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, okay. This is what I want it to be. So there will always be one element at the leftmost. Okay.
So the minimum of AS minus 1 should be followed by a colon, right?
Yeah, very nice, very nice. And I should put parentheses. Okay, but now I have added a minimum element, so I should finally take, if I do all this, the minimum of AS minus 1 is a dummy element that I added. So when I report my final ascending sequence, I should only take the tail of my original thing. Okay. So this much you should do. That is my initial processing. Now let me get to LAS prime. This is where okay. So LAS prime of empty list. This will never be called, but you will just say empty list because there is no longest ascending subsequence of an empty sequence. Okay. Fine. LAS prime of X, singleton list X, is just going to be singleton list X. Okay. Longest ascending subsequence of X followed by Y followed by Y. This is the important case. So what are all the cases here? X should definitely be included. Okay. So you just need to figure out what the next element is. Right? Should the next element be Y or not? Is your question. Yeah, you do not know right now. Okay, because if you include y, maybe there are some later elements that are smaller than y. Okay, if there are some later elements that are smaller than y but larger than x, then you would be missing out on them. So basically, you need to do recursive calls here and do two different recursive calls and find the maximum. I'll tell you what recursive call you do actually. There are two cases. Firstly, x less than y is one case. If x less than y, then you can either include y in the longest ascending subsequence or you need not include y. Okay, you should try both possibilities and take the maximum of the two possibilities. Okay, so what you want to do is, okay, and the maximum means one with the maximum length. Yes,
Sir, could you once just give an example of what we exactly want?
Right. What I want. Okay. Unfortunately, okay. So I can give you. So I can't give you longest. I have to write a program before I can run it and give you this thing. But if I give you a list, I don't know, 24, 11, 13. One second. Just give me a minute, okay? I have written this program earlier somewhere. And if I just run it on some numbers, I will get some values that will tell you what the longest ascending subsequence is. Okay, so I'll finish this program and then you will be able to see. The point is, if x is less than y, then you have a choice of whether to include y in the ascending subsequence or not. Because it is not always automatic that you should include y. Why? Because if you include y and then there is some later element z which is greater than x but smaller than y, then that won't be included, and maybe that leads to a longer subsequence. Okay, but I was at this level.
Okay, sir, I understand it now.
Yeah, okay. So
Yes, sir.
then finally here I want to also, at every stage, I want to not give only the list of the longest subsequence but also the length, let us say. Okay, and in which case this will give you a pair, and here I should say tail of first of. Okay, yeah, this I think it is getting yeah, that's okay. So somebody has written something on chat. Yeah, so lexicographic order is defined on every Unicode characters. That is some order in this thing. Okay, but we will not do it for the moment. Assume ASCII values and just get on with it. Okay. Anyway, so that's an aside. Sorry. Okay. So now you are always giving an integer also. So for the first value, you should give empty list and its length is 0. Here it's a singleton list. Its length is 1. Okay. Now you will see that if x is less than y, you can either include y in your this thing or you need not include y. If you include y, then the kind of call you have to make is, I'll give you the kind of call you have to make. I'll just say equals 0. Let me just say. You have to make recursive calls. The recursive calls will be of the form LAS prime x colon y, because you are ignoring y. You are ignoring y, in which case you are considering the list x followed by y. Or you are doing, you are including y, in which case the recursive call is of the form LAS y colon x. Okay. So let us give some value to these two things. This is L1, P1. L1 is the list, P is the number, length. L1, L1, let us say. L2, remember, I have not yet used any arrays or anything. It's just the straightforward induction. I mean, sorry, as it turns out, not so straightforward, but we'll do that. Okay, fine. Now, here, if x is less than y, then you have to see. If L1 is less than L2, okay, L1, remember, is check L1, you want to take the greater of the two lengths, no? So if L1 is greater than L2, L1, remember, is ignoring y. Okay, so you will just say then if L1 is greater than L2, then you are going to just return the value
Sir, len1 greater than len2.
Len1 greater than len2. Yes. If len1 is greater than len2, then you are just going to return L1 comma len1. Else remember your L2 comma len2. L2 is the longest ascending sequence which includes y. Okay, but you started out with the longest ascending sequence that includes x, right? So you have to put x in front. Okay, and you should also add 1 to the length. So then you should return not L2 comma len2 but x colon L2 comma len2 plus 1. This is the complete program. Okay, but now
Len L2.
otherwise I have to do the other case. Otherwise, this is the case where x is not less than y, in which case you are never going to include y. So you will just do len1 otherwise equal to len1 L1 comma len. Sorry, you are not going to include y. Yes, this is the complete. Okay, so I can format it properly. Is it clear? So this is the recursion, and for this kind of recursion, to make this recursion easy, I am doing this initial pre-processing. Okay, I'll just add a dummy element on the left and remove it at the end. Okay, now we can actually answer some of you who asked, give me an example. Why is it giving me 2 warnings? Redundant where? Oh, okay.
So your last dash is not indented. So your last dash is not indented.
No, sorry. Okay, great. Okay, good. So now let's go here. Let's reload. Let me call LAs of some. Yes, give me
Sir,
some. Yes.
Just a small question, sir. In the line x less than y equals if len1 greater than len2, should it be len1 greater than equal to? Because it looks like here if len1 and len2 are equal, it will return len2 plus 1 as well.
Very good observation. Yes. Great. Actually, I should be checking if len1 is greater than len2 plus 1. Okay, then do that, otherwise do this. Right, that's equivalent to saying len1 greater than equal to len2. That's right, but I should be computing the 2 resultant lengths. This is the correct way to compare it.
Got it, sir. Yeah.
Okay, great. So anybody has a question with so now finally, I'm sorry about this, now I'll actually be able to give you some example. Somebody please give me some random list.
5.
Yeah, rather than asking you, I'll go here and say I'll do not too long a thing, right? So I'll ask for so this is asking to return a random number between 0 and let's say 30. Okay, and I am building a list of integers like that. Okay, that is my input. Yes. And now I am just going to say that let okay, now I'm going to say the length of the longest ascending sequence is And the subsequence of that length is okay, great. So okay, so here is an example. Sorry. Input list also I have to write, right? Okay, great. So can you see this example? So I have 11, 14, 23, 9, 7, 21, 21. Over. And then the longest common subsequence, the longest ascending sequence is one of the longest ascending sequences is 11, 14, 23, 25. Okay. You can try for random inputs. You can keep trying this main again and again. See here, this is a different example where you are skipping the first element. You see 0, 4, 7, 9, 11, 17, 18, 29. Okay, so this is better somehow. Who asked for example of this?
Sir, it was me, Nilakchu.
Is it getting clearer now?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry about having to write the program first to even give an example, but I mean,
No, sir, it's fine.
constructing some random lists of integers is a little hard. So sorry. Okay, so here is like some 3, 8, 14, 17, 21. etc. Okay, so is the program itself clear? All I am doing is finding. So I am doing some initial hack to add an element guaranteed to be smaller than everything in the list. By the way, I can only do this for int and so on. I cannot do this for if I have a list of char. Okay, but there is a trick for that. Maybe I'll tell it in the next class. Okay, when I'll again have to complete other stuff about arrays. I'll complete arrays and then move to IO in the next class. Okay, I'll tell you, or maybe I'll let you think about what trick you can use if you are using some other ordered type other than int, where you don't have a notion of -1. But other than that, so you have the trick. LAS prime itself is clear, right? I want to compute the length of some longest ascending subsequence that definitely includes the first element. Okay, and the recursive case is the interesting one. If you just check whether you want to definitely include x, now you need to make a choice about whether to include y or not. In case x is greater than or equal to y, then you are definitely not going to include y. In case x is less than y, then you have a choice. You have to compute two different values and compare them and pick the longer one. Okay, except normally you would have just done a max of something, but except now I am returning a sequence also that witnesses the fact that this is the longest ascending subsequence. So what I'm doing is I am first doing one recursive call where I'm saying ignore y. So therefore I am making a call on x colon y. Another recursive call is to include y, but you know that you definitely need to include x, so you keep that in your hand. So first compute this LAS prime of y colon y, and then once the call returns, you have to add x to the front and add 1 to the. Is the recursion clear? Is the solution to the problem clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now, of course, if you try for larger numbers, here we tried for small these things. You can even try for 100 length. I want a list of length 100. Values are between, why not 0 and 30, or 0. I don't think it will work. See, it's getting stuck because it has to do lots of recursive calls. You see, that is the problem. It is the same old problem as with fibs, because in calling x colon y colon y's, you are making one recursive call to x colon y's, you are making another recursive call to y colon y's. Oh, okay. But you saw that it took a lot of time, and as you increase the length of the list, it will get worse. Okay. I can be reckless and try to increase the length of the list here itself. Also, the values matter. So let me put value between 0 and 2000. This is really getting reckless because it will take time. This itself took 16 point whatever minutes. That is my input list that has been printed out, but you'll see that you'll see that it will take a long time for it to complete that. Let that keep running. We'll go back to the program. How do you improve this program? Yeah, can I take some 5 minutes? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Or maybe you should come back and do it. LAS. Okay. These are integers, right? Okay. Good. Now, the induction, remember, is on, it's not a straightforward recursion because you are giving special status to the first element. Okay. And then there is this element. Okay. Let me first, like we did earlier, let me first translate this LAS prime to some function f. Okay. LAS on int, I don't know what to call it. Let's call it LAS. Okay. And this will work. Its input will not be a its input will not be an integer list, but it will actually be two. There is a fixed list in the background. Okay. So instead of calling LAS prime, I'll call LAS func. And instead of calling it on this list, okay, I will say, sorry. I'll comment out this whole version. I'll start a new version. Okay. LAS of AS is, okay, tail of first of LAS function or F, I can call it, it's a local function. F applied on, okay. I won't give a list as input, but I'll give two indices. Okay. 0, comma 1. Okay, I'll tell you what this means really. Okay, where let me first fix x's, which is x's, which is the modified list. So that should be minimum of A's followed by A's. Okay, good. F I have to define now. Now let me put it in comment what I mean. F of I comma j is nothing but LAS prime of x's at position I and drop j elements. Okay, drop j elements from this. This is what I mean. Okay, so if I'm going to do this, I can directly give a recursion. What is the direct recursion? So in case I have now realize that the recursion will start. So the LAS prime, the base cases are all here. Okay, so you have to say, oh, what happens if the I is actually n? That is what you have to ask for. What happens if j is n? Okay, so there is no need to give a base case. Actually, you have to say Fij equals. You have to give cases. If j is equal to, remember that this is the important case. J is n. Okay, so right. So okay, if j is n, then you are dropping n elements from x's. Okay, so if j is equal to n, then what do? You have to return the last you have to return excess at I 0. Okay, so actually you see that you are doing this excess. Yeah, so let's first finish this version. Otherwise, what do you do? If j is not equal to n, then you do the actual recursion that you want to do. Otherwise, I know that j is not equal to n, j is less than strictly less than n, and I am assuming that I will make the call only when I is less than j. Okay, so otherwise I have to do whatever I have done here, except I should translate it in terms of, instead of calling LAS prime, I will call f. Okay, so the recursion is simple. You will see that if otherwise yeah, we are in the otherwise case, j not equal to n, then I should check whether excess I is less than excess j. Okay, if excess at position I is less than excess at position j, that is corresponding to this check. Okay, then I'll do the recursive calls. If len1 greater than len2 plus 1, then you have to say L1 comma len1, else excess at I followed by L2 comma len2 plus 1. Otherwise,
There will be a followed by in the LAS prime above. So in the excess double bang I followed by drop j excess, it should be in the first LAS prime of the program. I mean Fij.
Here, no.
Yes,
that,
sir.
That is not a definition. That is just an explanation. I'm going to
Okay.
Okay, I'm just keeping it there so that you know what is happening, but I'll comment it out at the end. Okay, so the point is, whenever you take a tail of a list, then that is like dropping one more element, right? So then the recursive call will be for fj plus 1. So let me finish this, then you will be able to compare the two versions. Okay, otherwise it's equal to L1 comma len1 where, and this is the important thing. Oh, I don't need to say where because there's an original where. What is f? What is yeah? So I could have nested wheres, but where this is only for this. Where I am saying L1 comma len1 is the function f applied on x colon y's. Okay, meaning you are dropping one more element. Your original thing was x colon y colon y's, right? So this was excess at I, and that was no, in fact I should say that this thing is this plus that. I'm trying to do for this list. Okay, I'm trying to go for this definition. Fij I want to be the LAS prime function applied on this list. Okay, and that is what I am trying to transcribe. So now I have original list, and this drop j excess was y colon y's, and instead I went to a recursive call x colon y's, which means I am doing f of I j plus 1. I am dropping one more element. Otherwise I have to do L2 len2 is actually I am doing y colon y's, which is like saying f j plus 1. Yeah, now I'll go and delete this. Okay, this is my function. But I mean, having translated this just like with our earlier examples, just because I translated something from lists to some drop kind of thing doesn't improve the complexity, because this is still nested recursive call, right? But we now know how to handle this. How do we handle this? Simple. You just do arrays. Okay, so at the point where you define okay, so what I'll do is I'll stop at this point. Okay, I'll let you digest this program. I'll upload this code by evening, and also slides about arrays. When we come back, I'll go in depth into this, and maybe we'll look at one more example of using arrays, and then we'll, yeah. So don't worry. You at least know how to use lazy arrays for Fibonacci. You can use lazy arrays to do LCS, etc. But the index set of the array should be different. It should be pairs now. Okay, that is the point. Here also the index set should be pairs. Okay, because the indices are, you are applying f on ij. Okay, so your indices are pairs and the values are some numbers. Okay, we'll figure all this out in the next class. Okay, so no point torturing you further. So just try to remember the material till this now. I'll upload the code by evening, code as well as the completed slides. We'll tackle more problems in the next class and then we'll finish ours. Is that fine? So any questions till now? LAS, I hope it's reasonably understandable, and also this translated version. If you want, we can come back and go over this again. We will definitely go over this again. Anything else?
Sir, one quick question, sir. Sir, are arrays implemented using pointers?
Arrays are not implemented using pointers. Arrays are directly, the implementation of arrays is hard for us to understand at this stage, but it's beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful aspects in Haskell, but it's been there around for 30 years now, actually.
Okay.
25 years plus now. Yeah. And the way they are implemented is because of a concept which is really nice. Okay. But we do not, unfortunately, we cannot go over it now. So if enough of you are interested, I can do a Haskell ++ course later in your tenure at CMI, and then where we can see some of those aspects. Okay. But let us finish this and let's see. Yeah. Okay. Any other question? So as far as we are concerned, you just use it as an API. The arrays should be used in this form, this form, this form. That's all. Okay. You just think of it as part of your language, and then you just use these functions. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Anything, Vijayan, you wanted to ask something? No.
As I just said about the letter of random, should I mail you afterwards for this?
You can mail me after. Okay.
System.random. Sorry. Okay. Okay.
That's okay. You can mail me after because I have to go and eat. I somehow lunch too late. And, okay. Okay. See you then. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.